Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports.
Cardinals Corner from Arizona Sports with Tyler Drake and Lauren Koval.
What's going on, Bird Gang? Welcome back into another edition of Cardinals Corner, Week 2 style. I'm Tyler Drake. That's Lauren Koval. This is Cardinals Corner. So welcome back in. And first of all, how you doing? Before we get into some not so great stuff, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Busy day here. We've got everybody speaking this week for the Arizona Cardinals again. So let's dive on into it.
Yep. And yes, the Saints, they got the L. The Cardinals, unfortunately, though, had a casualty. Joey Blount, special teams ace and safety, done for the year with a neck injury. Was originally ruled as a concussion. Him and Cody Simon, I think, on the same kickoff. Both had a concussion there. Exited the game. Now it's discovered it's actually a neck issue. Done for the year. And yes, I think some people might take that as, okay, whatever, special teams player, no big deal. They'll move on. This guy was a little bit more than just that special teams player.
A captain.
Yeah, one of their captains, special teams ace for the past couple of years. And yes, we talked a lot about him being in that battle with Keaton Crawford. And yes, he still got that job. He still had his role. But now you have to move on and figure out how do you make up for a pretty big loss on that side of the ball.
Luckily, a guy that you can still have hanging around the team and, coaching up the next man up mentality. You can still have him hanging out around the team. A neck injury is always one of those where it's just, okay, yep, you're out for the year.
You're done.
We're
Not
calling it right now.
Mm-hmm.
No. And especially a guy like Joey Blount, like he knows his body and he knows how much he can take. And those neck injuries can be pesky and they can linger and they can really affect your play. So happy to hear that he is getting, the help that he needs, the rehab he needs to return next year as healthy as possible. And also still just a good guy to have around in that locker room. He's still going to be with the team, and that's important, especially given, like you said, Crawford looked great in the preseason, but also you still want a guy who can coach you up to be the next best thing at that role. And that's exactly what I expect a captain like Joey Blount to do. Yeah.
And I got to talk to Will Johnson this week and we mentioned, hey, how tough is it to lose Joey? And he was like, it's not just that he's special teamer. Like, he's our guy there. He's a captain in this locker room and he's a leader. So you could tell that it's hitting more than maybe the outside fan would kind of notice.
The outside perspective.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, a couple other injury updates. Cody Simon wasn't practicing Wednesday with a concussion. As we just mentioned, he got a concussion in that kickoff. Tip Ryman, though, I think it was a foot. He didn't practice today either. That's going to be something to watch because I believe he had more snaps than a guy like Zay Jones.
He also had a catch.
Mm-hmm. So that we know this team relies heavily on multiple tight ends, and he is one of the key cogs for that. So that's going to be the big one to watch. And then Kelvin Beachum, rest day, no big deal there.
No, and with Tip Ryman being out with that foot injury, the Arizona Cardinals run 13 personnel more than any other team in the NFL. And Tip Ryman is a huge part of that and what they're able to accomplish. We saw Elijah Higgins get some catches and get some action even against the Saints in that first game.
Loved his blocking.
Yes.
And the Trey Benson pop, he was very critical in that.
And that's exactly what you're brought in to do in those 13 personnel situations, is just give everybody a little bit more time up there at the line of scrimmage. And the line of scrimmage specifically was a question mark for the Arizona Cardinals against the Saints. So that's somewhere where you look to improve, and having that 13 personnel and having a steady guy like Tip Ryman up there for you is important.
Yep. And if he does have to miss time, look for a guy like Travis Vokolek to maybe get some more reps. I mean, it's going to be, I think Elijah Higgins will move more up into that role, but I could easily see a guy like Vokolek be inserted as more of that blocking tight end too. So something to watch there. All right. It's week 2. It's the Carolina Conundrum.
Yeah.
The Cardinals-Carolina Conundrum.
One that does not back the Arizona Cardinals at all. History has it that basically we should be chalking this up to a loss immediately.
Ugh.
Statistically,
since 2019, they're 1-4 against Carolina.
Also, you look at that and you go, why have you played the Panthers
so many
much?
times?
Yeah, what's going on there?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's just how it's been drawn up the past few years for them. I mean, we saw last year, it was sort of like the Panthers
And that might have been the worst one. That might have been the worst loss, given the implications that was surrounding it.
Yes, because the final radio call, I just went back and listened to some of the highlights of that game yesterday. And listening to the final call of it on the radio, Dave Pasch hops on and goes, And with this loss is the Arizona Cardinals' hopes at the playoffs as well. And hearing it, so the summation of all of that come together like this, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It was their last opportunity, and they lost it to the Panthers. Now, luckily, with this Week 2 matchup, the Cardinals' playoff hopes cannot be kicked down the drain in Week 2. But this is that perfect sort of revenge style, prove you're not the same team as last year, prove you've seen growth.
Don't play down.
Don't play down. I mean, we discussed it last week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they love to do. We saw an Arizona Cardinals team play the Bills Week 1 last year that I swear we never saw again. We never saw the iteration of that team with as much firepower and gusto as they did that week. So you hope to only keep building that momentum. You've started Week 1 with a win this year, unlike the past few. Now, how do we channel that into success down the line?
Yeah, last time they won against Carolina, last year of the old regime.
Okay.
So, yeah, just the optics of taking this one and really not making it close. I think that's the thing. I think we all can agree that this should be a hefty Cardinals win. It better be a hefty Cardinals win.
I mean, you picked a blowout against the Saints, and we didn't see that happen at all.
Knocking off the rust, sloppy. We will not overreact to Week 1 like we said we weren't last week. But if they do the same thing this week, might have to overreact a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's fair because now we've got Week 1 under our belt, so we could kind of see what did the Panthers look like last week, because there was a lot of hype surrounding Bryce Young and this new offense and T-Mac. And what did he look like? You get him in the top 10, and he looked really solid for them, but he was kind of the only shining star of that offense. I mean, Chuba Hubbard's going to get his.
Yeah, I think he had 57 yards last week.
He did against the Cardinals last year,
he
though.
did. The whole running game did.
So you need to see that run game step up because while Week 1 against the Saints, Kamara didn't necessarily go off.
It was still productive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yep, exactly. And that's exactly where I wanted to get to because, yes, last year, what did the Cardinals do? They lost the takeaway battle. They lost in the run game. This year, that should not be the case. It really shouldn't. You've got the revamped defense for one. Josh Sweat is going to be better than he was last week, and I didn't think he was that bad to begin with. 4 pressures, led the team. Baron Browning got the 1 sack. He's still going to be involved. The run stoppers, though, I'm looking at Dante Stills. I'm looking at the guys up front to really set the tone because, he's going to get his. I mean, what did he have last year? He was over 1,000, 1,195, and 10 touchdowns. That's underrated.
He's also the guy who cemented that win for them.
Yep.
On that touchdown run where you just watched everybody, like every sort of tier of the defense set up, you watched them fail to do it as the play transpired in front of your very eyes, and you went, wow, he's going to the end zone.
Yeah. So, and it was funny because Jonathan Gannon was talking this week about he doesn't like to go into the future. He doesn't like to go in the past.
No.
He gets anxious if he goes to the future, depressed if he goes in the past. This week, though, he kind of had to pull that back a little bit and look back at what happened last year because, there's some new players, but at the end of the day, it's still the same coaching staff. Like they're very much put together that way. That's going to be a lot of what you saw last year, maybe a couple wrinkles, but outside of really T-Mac, this is going to be a very, they know what's in front of them. So they've got to step it up. And it's one heck of a test, and especially T-Mac maybe going up against Will Johnson this week.
And that is the highlight. That is what I am looking for because you saw Will Johnson absolutely thrive and be stellar against the Saints. To me, the MVP of that game. You could argue Buda Baker as well at the end with that last play in the end zone. Jalen Thompson going low, Buda going high. I think Buda had a lot more to do with that play than people are giving him credit for.
Sneak a hand in there, though.
Yeah, and I think both of them had a lot to do with that final play. A lot of people are going, he just kind of dropped it in the end zone by the time he came down. No.
He was catching that if he wasn't hit.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of credit to that secondary. Will Johnson stands out as, what would have been his first NFL interception if not for a pesky flag on Max Melton there. But with that in mind, he's going up against a more challenging and more athletically built, in that way I'd argue more talented wide receiver in Teteroa McMillan. I mean, a U of A guy that we saw thrive on not a great Wildcats football team to begin with, but definitely showed what he could do. Enough to go 7, I believe.
7 or 8, yeah.
7 or 8 in the NFL draft last year. So watching that transpire, now you're seeing some real talent. You're seeing what should have been Will Johnson, if not for the knee injury that came out before the draft. He probably would have been a first-round guy too. So you're seeing 2 first-round rookies go up against each other. I mean, what more could you ask for?
I wonder if the Cardinals sent like Ian Rappaport, Adam Schefter, like a gift basket for getting that out there.
Thank you
hey,
so
thanks
much
for letting this dude drop.
Yeah.
Because it took a split second for, I think, all of us to realize, like, yeah, he should have been a first rounder.
Oh, absolutely.
Not very long to really just, this guy's got it.
No, and when Will Johnson spoke to you after the draft, he was even like, yeah, no, I'm not worried about this anything. And no, I don't think that this even should have come out about before the draft, because it is so not a thing I was worried about. And
that's just the way that he spoke. Yeah, when we were talking, it was just like, it hasn't been a thing. I don't know why it came out. It's like, well, hey, go send them a gift basket, because you clearly are exactly where you want to be. He, again, impressed me just in the locker room today, just talking about how somebody asked him, like, hey, what did you think about your debut? How impressive did you think your debut was? He's like, it was cool, but it's nothing if I can't do it next week, or I can't do it after that, or I can't do it consistently. Like, that's the mindset you want to have as a cornerback, as a football player.
And who does that sound like?
Buddha.
The guy that you've cemented yourself next to, and the guy that you want to model your play after, and the guy who is happy to coach and mentor anybody. I mean, Buddha talks about it all the time. He's like, yeah, if you want to know anything, he's like, I'm open to talking to the wide receivers too, about here's how I'm going to guard you if I was up against you. That's exactly what we've seen from Will Johnson. And to say that it's only been 1 week of regular season play and we're already comparing the two sitting right here is just proof of what Will Johnson's capable of doing. Yeah, and that's the thing. He just has to stay healthy. And that's, for a rookie, like, the only thing that I feel like he needs to do is just stay healthy. That says a lot about what he could do and bring to this team, not just now, but for years down the line, because his confidence is at all-time high after that week. And that's a challenge in the NFL, staying healthy for anybody, staying healthy specifically at his position and how athletic that needs to be out there on the field, and especially being a rookie. You don't necessarily know how much the NFL is going to take a toll on your body versus college, and now you really have to stay refined and stay as physically apt as you can. I mean, I think of Michael Wilson, another guy that we've talked about, who dealt with the injury bug in college, came to the NFL, and he's dealt with the injury bug again. So you're trying to avoid that from happening. Yeah. Yep. I'm going to get so off the rails right now, because I saw this tweet from Shams Charania, and I just have to ask you this, because it's been in my brain since driving up here from Cardinals practices. All right, so what is it now that now the half-court shots won't count as a stat for a player? What? It'll count for the team. Why? The field goal percentage. So because they want more people to heave them. Oh. It's like adding 5 more yards on the touchback. Yeah. So it got me thinking, it's like, what would be the one thing in the NFL that I would love to see that be implemented for? Hail Marys? Probably. Kneel downs? I'd love there to just in general be more Hail Marys in the NFL, because it kind of feels like the thing that makes fans the most excited, as long as you're able to do them. I mean, and here's maybe the thing too, is like last second shot basketball, you're not going to have a chance to run it back and score a touchdown. No. Whereas opposed to a Hail Mary, there's potential things could go very wrong very fast, but I start with Hail Mary, but then I think I put the fantasy football hat on and I think kneel downs, because how many games have been decided by, Lamar Jackson's kneeling the last 2 of these and now he's minus 4 or whatever, 4 yards, whatever it is, and you lose by point something or one. Like, that's the one thing I was like, whoa,
I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I also miss the excitement of just like any team going for a field goal from any distance, because it's just like, okay, yeah, we need to tie this up.
Yep.
I think specifically back to my childhood and watching the greatest punt returner ever, I think that's fair to say, in Devin Hester. And a team misses it, he catches it under the goalpost and runs it back.
Yep.
And you're just like, no, that is what the NFL is missing, that level of like palpable excitement again. And I feel like when they were like, no, teams, okay, if that's where you're kicking from and you miss, that's where the opposing team gets the ball, like that defeated some of the fun.
I agree with that. Yeah, it was just, I saw it and it was like one of those, okay, it's not even football, but now I've got my brain thinking, like, I don't even know what else I would say. Like, even for like baseball or hockey or anything, like, I don't even know where I would go. But for football, it's like too easily like, Hail Mary, make it just a little bit. It's still very dangerous if things go wrong, but make it a little less on the quarterback.
But isn't that what makes it so exciting?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay. So yeah, way off the rails there. Let's get, who's your underrated Cardinal for this week? Or who's your Cardinal that you need to see step up or want to step up or key to this game?
I think that my underrated Cardinal is what we just talked about with line of scrimmage battle, but I'm going to the other side of the ball, and I'm going with somebody like Dante Stills.
Oh, you took mine.
I'm going with somebody like Dante Stills, because what have we just talked about? That the Carolina Panthers are really solid at their run game. Then when Bryce Young is in trouble or that pocket starts to collapse on him, he's immediately passing it off. He's a guy who is able to run if he wants to, but doesn't necessarily lean into that side of the play for him.
Yeah.
So he's more of a hand it off or a quick pitch off to Chuba Hubbard, who always seems ready for those, by the way. I can't name the last time I've seen a Panthers play of that sort go awry. And because he's always ready for it, you need to step up and you need to make sure that that's not even a possibility for this Panthers team, or make their run game so unreliable in the first half that they feel like they can't go to it in the second half. And somebody like Dante Stills is capable of doing that. Easily.
I'm going to give you, now I'm going to switch my answer. I'm going to give you two names. They're kind of not under the radar, but they are. Baron Browning.
Yeah.
That's who I think is, we saw a lot last week. I think we just see a little bit more. I think, but also, here's the thing too, though. Carolina could follow a very similar game plan to what New Orleans did last week. Get it out quick. Don't give them time to rush the passer, put a lot of pressure. Like, that is very much on the table. I think it was time to throw was, they were pretty close between Spencer and Bryce last week. So I think there's going to be a lot of the same of that. Don't be in trouble if you can get the ball out. But Baron Browning and then Jordan Birch. Jordan Birch under the radar last week, but he was doing his thing in the pass rushing side of things. So those would be two guys. Obviously, Josh Sweat, I think he's going to get off and really knock the rust off and go. But those two pass rushers kind of, I guess Barron's kind of a starter now, but
I thought you were going to go with Josh Sweat when you said that.
I did, but then I started with underrated, and then I went X Factor, so I was like, okay, let's start with the beginning, and then Baron Browning. But yeah, Josh, I think pass rush in general is probably there. Yes, it's going to be. I would just love to see how they tweak the game plan to try to get to them faster, or try to have them hold the ball more. Really,
this is a game where you could stack up those sacks if you were able to really get to the quarterback quickly. Because in week 1, we kind of saw Bryce Young start to panic. And when he did, he just threw the ball out of bounds, or he hung around in the pocket too long. And you can get sacked if you do that. If you're hanging around in the pocket too long, that's why you paid Josh Sweat.
Yep.
Get after him.
Yep.
And let's see if he can actually do it this week. And hopefully when we come back in here on Sunday, we're talking about new sack totals for the Arizona Cardinals.
Exactly. All right. I think that's all I got for this week's preview episode. Anything that I missed? Or we missed?
Anything that we missed? I don't think we traveled all around the sports today, and I think that's what matters.
Yes. All around the sports, all around the ball. Gotta love it.
I do.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for stopping by once again. Follow the show at AZ Cards Corner. You can follow me at TDrake for Sports. You can follow Lauren at Koval_Lauren. I almost messed that up.
No, nailed it.
And we'll be back Sunday to break it down. I think I'll be at the game, and then I will be right here sitting next to you, and we'll have all the X's and O's and all the recap that you need. So again, keep it locked on the Arizona Sports app, 98.7, ArizonaSports.com. We'll see you then.